Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Talking Strength. Today's episode was our first Zoom podcast, which will be pretty cool going forward. Obviously, with COVID, we've kind of had to adapt with a whole bunch of things, and being able to connect with other people all around the world means that we'll just be able to get more and more variety of guests on the podcast. So I'm quite excited about that. So today's episode is with Coach Jenz. He's co-founder of the PFCA, who are an institute based in London or in the UK. And their main goal is basically to raise the standard for professional coaches in the functional fitness industry. And it's quite cool. We kind of go into, Jenz's background and how this PFCA developed and his goal to inspire and to, make an impact on so many different lives, or a meta impact on so many different lives by impacting trainers. So we kind of go into the nuts and bolts of that and just have a really good chat. He's a fellow South African boy like me, and we chatted a little bit about that, but it was awesome chat. I really dig the guy. If anyone listens from the UK, or even around the world, and you're looking at kind of bettering yourself, the PFCA have got a multitude of courses. That is a whole bunch of different business courses. They've got some social media ones, and there's some new stuff coming out soon, as far as I understand. So check them out. I'll put all the links for Coach Jenz and the PFCA in the show notes. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoy. Let us know how you like the episode, and that's it. All right, dude. Well, let's kind of get into it. Do you want to give us a little bit of a rundown of who you are, what you're up to, and why you're a bearded fella on my screen, I suppose?
Oh, James, I think I'm a fellow South African and you wanted to have a beer with me. I mean,
That's pretty much it.
how big a bio do you want? It's like it's one of those ones. It was like, oh, it depends where this is going out, what the message is. Do you know what I mean? Like you could easily get lost.
Just hit us with an elevator pitch, and we'll kind of take it from there and see where the wind blows.
Oh my greatness. Wow. I actually had to do one of these yesterday on like a big business meeting, and we had to be like, right, who are you? And it was like, okay. Look, I'm Coach Jenz, South African, born and bred, lived in the UK now for like 12 years. Originally came over for rugby, but just didn't work out as planned, and things just kind of grew into where I am today. So where I am today is, I'm a father of two incredible children, a little boy and a little girl, 4 and 2 years old. They are just amazing. I've got an incredible wife.
Keeping you busy.
Yeah, yes, it's busy, eh? It's busy, bro. I've got an incredible wife, South African girl, proper Boere Macy. She's as good as they come, Kalfin and Kombase. You're going to have to put like I don't know.
Subtitles
Subtitles, yeah.
Yeah. What that means,
yeah. Yeah. But, and then, so like I said, back in the SA days, I was playing rugby at the Lions after high school, and I was like, oh, this is my, I always wanted to be a professional rugby player. And, for political reasons, I chose to leave South Africa. You and I both know what that means. And I was like, you know what, if I'm going to go play rugby, the next best thing is England. Came over to England, and like I said, it just, nothing really worked out despite hard work and whatever. And, there's deeper stories to that, but, it's not really necessary. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do? I did 1 year at uni doing like management sciences. I thought I wanted to go down the whole like accounting and consulting route, what have you. And then I was like, oh, I hate South Africa. I need to get out. So I hate as in the politics side. We'll always love South Africa for home, then like try to embrace what was going on here from a rugby standpoint. Ended up in Scotland. So I played rugby in Scotland for 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from, man. Macintosh.
Yeah.
It's the heritage right
well,
here. There it is.
That's the
On the ground.
hardcore. That's the hardcore in you. It's not the South African, eh?
No,
Scots are
it's not
like
the South African, it's the Scots.
Scots are legends, bro. I love the Scots. So did that for 2 years, but I was like, I wasn't happy. I had like a semi-pro rugby contract where you basically, I just call it paid amateur. You're getting paid to play rugby, but you actually had a job and you had to keep, doing that job to put food on your table and all the rest of it. So did that for a period and then got stuck into education from an S&C background. A friend of mine at the time, he was head of development for the Scottish Rugby Union. So across the country, he was trying to... Yeah, bro. He was trying to change, like what you're seeing now with Scottish rugby starting to come up a little bit. That was his work, 10, 12 years ago, where he was just trying to fix it from the ground, from grassroots up. And, he's an ex-Waterkloof head boy, So if there's one guy who's going to do it...
They breed differently there.
Yeah. So, if there's one guy who's going to do it, it's going to be him. His name was Bosman Duplessis. Come on.
You can't get a more South African rich name right there.
Yeah. You might as well just put Pap and Vors right there as well. So he got me into like doing some S&Cs, like CPDs and workshops and looking after the juniors. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I've been in the gym since I was like a lighty. I've always helped my friends in the gym. And I was like, oh, could I actually do this? So I was looking at just staying within rugby and just doing that. And it turns out the money is just shocking. And I was like, I've got who is now my wife, but at the time my girlfriend, who I was like, I need to provide for her. I was like, what am I going to do? I need to like set up a life. Eventually, I made a decision to head down to London and set up a PT business down there. And I knew no one. I had nothing. I lived in my grandmother's garden shed, bro. I'm not even joking. Literally a garden shed. We put a sofa bed down and a mattress, and that's where I was going to sleep. And a bicycle, so that I could just wake up, go work in the gym from 5 o'clock in the morning all day, get as many clients as I could, right? And it was horrendous.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't. What season was this? How did that even? Like, you must have frozen your nuts off,
bro. Those like gas heaters, bro. I had one in there just to keep me alive, bro. I'm not joking. So.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, right. So those first 3 months of setting up a PT business in London, knowing that like I had to make this work, was just rough, bro. It was rough. And like a bit like when you're single and you go out to a bar and like it's like you don't pull, and then the moment you get a girl, then it's just the easiest thing, right? It's like
100%. You just bat
yeah.
success and then suddenly you land on it and you're like, dun.
Yeah. It was the same thing. Like, I was just like this guy that was just getting bat all over the place in the gym. I was like, I don't get it. I'm bringing this rugby thing. I'm bringing this S&C thing. I'm bringing this South African thing. Like what's the deal? Anyway, then a mentor of mine at the time, Aaron, he was like, dude, just chill. Just like focus on doing you be you, and the rest will come, right? Just train everyone, like, don't worry about making money right now. And literally that advice was the best advice I got at that stage of my life. Within 6 weeks, I was running a 40+ hour week PT business in a gym that had 25 trainers in a commercial gym. And then,
man, it's funny how like things just, I call it like the landing effect or the airport effect. It's like all these planes are constantly flying around, like looking for a runway. And as soon as something lands, it's just all the planes just continue going.
Yeah,
that runway opens up and you're ready to go.
Yeah, and it was quite a unique moment. And then it was just about like exposure, right? Like just being exposed to working with as many people as possible, dealing with as many different issues. But I always knew like I wanted more. And as I was diving into it, I was like, hey, I need to go down the corrective exercise routes and the exercise rehab routes and all that kind of stuff. I went down like sports therapy and all these things because I was like, I'm just seeing so much like brokenness, right? People are just fucking broken.
People are a mess. It's a mess up there.
Yeah, and that really sparked like like just a passion to learn, and it was so, we are so fortunate to be in the fitness industry because you get to act like an entrepreneur, right? Where you're like, oh, self-development and read this book and read that book. Like, so like loads of people outside of our industry just look at us, go, oh, weirdo. Do you know what I mean? But it's incredible that we're in that position to do so.
Yeah, we do the self-development, self-help books all in sweatpants.
Yeah,
that's the best part. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, right now I'm barefoot in sweatpants and like a shirt. That's it. It's gonna work.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's the life, right? So it was like, get really deep into that. I was just really enjoying the fact that I could be in the position to do so. And then I was like, you know what? I want to open up a gym. Like, I'm good at this PT thing. Like, let me open up a gym. So then it was like my life's mission, and somehow became a dream that I wanted to open up a gym. And I tried several, and opening up gyms in London is really hard from a investment point of view, let alone just finding properties in London big enough.
I was gonna say more space, dude. Space, but by itself must just be a nightmare.
Yeah, ceiling height is one of the worst, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like I get mentees now who are like, dude, I want to open up a gym. And be like, okay, cool. And then it's like, oh, what's the ceiling height of that property? Okay, so no one can go overhead in a standing position. Great. Then we've got to find somewhere else.
So you've got to change your whole programming perspective.
Yeah, everyone's doing landmine press or half kneading press.
Or like a Z press, like just on the floor. It's like, that's as high as you go.
Yeah. Good luck with that. So
you got a new screening criteria when your client walks in. It's like, how tall are you? What's your wingspan? We can't take you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
We just can't work.
We only deal with people who cannot go overhead, which is pretty much the population anyway. So it should be the case. But no, it was so funny, right? So eventually got a space, opened up my first gym at age 24, and it was like I wanted to bring at the time. I mean, what are we talking about now? I don't know. I don't even know now. Like 7-8 years ago, there was less than that. I can't even do maths now. Anyway, so 6-7 years ago, CrossFit was really kind of booming. It was quite cool. The space that they were talking about was quite cool. But I wanted to have the same looking space, but bring a much more S&C kind of vibe, right? So I opened up this really cool place with a business partner at the time. Anyway, and it did really well. Like, it was a vibe. I had to learn so fast though, because at that stage, I thought, I'm a good PT. I've got a great name for myself, great reputation in the area. Surely all I got to do is open up a sick ass gym and they'll come. Bro, I couldn't have been more wrong. Like, it's not if you build it, they will come. It's like, if you build it, great, congratulations. Now you need to fucking do the work. So
you're just giving yourself more of an expense. That's all it is.
Yeah,
you built it. Your bank account's fucking in the red, and that's it.
Yeah. And I then had to, I often talk about learning rate, and that time was like sink or swim. Training wheels are off the bike, and it's time to learn. You're gonna fall on your face or you're gonna learn. Either way you're gonna learn. I invested everything into a digital marketeer coach, right? Who taught me everything I needed to know at that stage about digital marketing in general in the fitness world, everything. And it was a very, very huge investment. Like, when people talk about CPD nowadays, I actually get really pissed off with it. Like, loads of coaches, the coaches that you mentor and I mentor, it's like, oh, I don't know if I can do that £700 course or that $2,000 course. It's like, mate, if you work in the corporate world, CPD there is like 25, 35 grand. I mean, that year I spent £24,000 on literally coaching to learn about digital marketing. That was a CPD. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it's something that I've seen in the industry, and you'll be able to test it as well. It's like, let's go on the weekend course and then I'm an expert.
Yeah.
You get your certificate at the end of your 2 days. I spent the $2,000, and it's like, these longer type courses, and we've done the prescript obviously, and that's kind of where this all goes as well. It's like, that's 16 weeks. It's like, that's a lengthy period of time to start really diving into your craft. And I find the coaches who are investing the time to actually go into those longer courses are just coming out with better knowledge. And we see that, like you're saying, in corporate as well. It's like, a corporate course is 20 plus grand, but it's like, it's not a weekend.
No.
It's, a corporate CPD from that side is 6 months, a year. Like, they're adding on to their degrees, they're adding on to their craft. It's like, why aren't we tackling our industry in the same way?
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Because everything just gets watered down further and further, and it's like, it actually does my nuts in so much. And I think, the likes of you, the likes of us, like where I am now, our mission is to just raise the standard. But like where the root is, that's the problem. So just going back. So like after I did the gym thing, the kind of relationship within that whole business started to get quite toxic. And I was at a stage in my life where I was like, if I stay here, I'm never going to be able to achieve any of the things that I thought I wanted to do. But it was so hard to go from PT Jenz to gym owner Jenz, and then what was
back.
To go back, right? And like I thought, people respect me because I'm a gym owner. I mean, how many gym owners do you know that are fucking shit coaches? But for some reason, my ego was built on, I'm a gym owner, therefore I must be good. So it was really hard to just like kill that identity. Anyway, eventually did it. And then I went back to just being PT Jenz. But what was amazing was like what I needed to do in a very short period of time. I had 9 months before the end of the financial year that year to accumulate as much money as possible to buy my family a home. I had a young, Hunter was very young, and he was like 3-4 months old when I got rid of the gym. And I was like, shit, this is huge pressure. But I was like, this is what I need to do in order to be able to achieve, what I want. And it just shows you what you can do when you put your head down and do it. So I did it. I managed to buy the house. Fantastic. But at that same change of identity, I was like, I need to make a bigger impact in the world. I've got something special to give. At the time, I developed a team. I developed trainers. A lot of my clientele that I was working with on a face-to-face basis with trainers. I was like, I've got a way in which I educate or communicate that actually is quite, I'm going to use the word functional, but just easy to understand and just facilitate into what they need, like a good integration.
Yeah, it was just beneficial to them. Like it made an impact.
Correct.
So like that's going around right now, but it's like, it's the impact over, that's what you need to do in your business. Like, I want to impact someone's life. That's my goal.
Yeah.
It's like, as a coach, it's like, I want to make the impact.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you did, like what we're doing. And it's interesting that you say that. I mean, how old were you? You were, what, 20?
I was 27. 28, yeah.
27, 28. It's like you've already realized it's like you're making an impact. It's like how many 28-year-olds, how many 35-year-olds right now do you know of that kind of just want money? They just chase money.
Yeah.
They're not chasing impact. They're not chasing other people's well-being.
Yeah.
It's like, there you are, 28, man. It's like, that's a huge realization.
Yeah. No, 100%, bro. I mean, again, I've always been ahead of my time, and I guess leaving home at a young age, you got to do that shit quite quickly, right? And man. I think that in itself this is a story, right? It's like how coddled and fucking protected everyone is these days. But yeah, so doing that part really of like redefining my new identity was quite hectic. And a good friend of mine at the time who I played rugby with, who is now my business partner, I often refer to him as my non-sexual life partner.
100%. You got to have one of those as a male. That's just how that works.
He's so good looking as well, so it's great.
And you're and he's jacked.
He's so yoked.
So yoked. Dude. It's actually frightening.
Dude,
it's frightening.
He is so jacked. He's such a machine, bro. But so him and I were like, with his influence in the industry, loads of trainers were reaching out to him for CPD or where do I get in, just so inspired by his story that they wanted a piece of that. And we were like, well, with my quote unquote brain and with his brain and influence, we can do something. We can really do something here. So we set up our first education business like 3 and a bit years ago. And that was we called it the Stronger Coaches Academy, the SEA. And it was a 12 or 16 week mentorship. There was one video each week, and it was literally everything you needed to know about building your brand and getting more fulfillment from your career.
Dude, that's mad. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah. So we built this incredible thing, and the goal was we need to raise the standards. Anyway, in our first year, we did it. I mean, dude, for very little investment, a lot of time, but very little financial investment, we sold a shit ton of courses. But the problem was the cost was, or the perceived cost, i.e. the investment, was too high to make the impact that we wanted. That was the problem. It was like, well, here's our course. It's amazing. It is quote unquote elitist, but now it like scares all the shit away, which is the shit that's in the industry. So it was like, well, actually, it's a bit of a paradox here. It's like, well, how do we attract them to go, listen, this is what you need, and should you do this, you'll then go, I can't believe I was not gonna, like, I can't believe I could have not chosen this course. Do you know what I mean? It's scary.
You know what I find interesting about that is, like, right now in the industry, and you'll know from coaching coaches, it's like, it's the complete opposite. Everyone's chasing the elitist. Everyone's chasing to be the package, you know, the high priority package from that side. And where you guys, once again, you took money out of the equation and you went for impact. It's like, and I think if more people went along those lines, or like strive to make more impact and actually make an influence in clients' lives, other coaches' lives, you know, the people you're mentoring, it's like, one, the money's going to come by itself, and two, you're actually going to do some good, especially in the industry that we're in the industry, obviously, to make money to live, but it's like, I'm here to make an impact. And I think most trainers have some inclining of, like, that's what they want to do. They might not know it 100%, but it's like, that's what you should be striving for. So it's just interesting to see that your guys' perspective was almost different, or the complete opposite. From what I see.
I think, listen, we are very commercially minded and we know how to make money. I think what it was more about how to understand, well, we need something that can scale. We need something that can actually get the message across, that is maybe less labor intensive, but actually changes or has an impact, has a meta impact, as your boy would say, right? And I think that's really, that was unique. And then we decided that we were gonna create this thing called the Functional Fitness Coach Level 1, right? And basically that's the course we have now in the marketplace. But what it was like all these people coming into the functional training space, all these gyms building functional training areas within the gyms, these commercial spaces, but yet no one knows what the hell they're doing. There's equipment there that they don't even know how to use. People are deadlifting and they should not be deadlifting with the form that they were doing. I don't know what it was. Do you know what I mean? So it was like all these coaches want to copy what they see on social media, but without the fundamental know-how on, number one, how to just see movement, how to assess movement, and then how to quote unquote correct it and then load it. And that was what was pissing us off. It's like, hey, fine, if you want to do functional fitness because it's cool, let us give you the principles to make sure that we can do it safely. Because we know that if you were to program in a way that is quote unquote functional, I hate that word, but it is purposeful, it is meaningful, it is safe to do, and we can load and get stronger over time, then by all means, let's call it Functional Fitness Coach, because we can package it into something marketable and you know, does what it says on the tin. But when you come inside, we blow your mind. And then what was crazy was we thought we'd take our big course that we did as the SEA, and then we're going to do this watered down version. While we were constructing this, we then went into a meeting with some guy who's got this huge business and influence in the fitness industry, and he was like, this is insane, I've got all these connections, let's look to bring this together, and we take it a whole nother level. And that was when we decided, yes, we need to rebrand, because we need to re-identify as the professional standard. We wanted to basically rewrite the standard. So hence why the PFCA was born, the Professional Fitness Coaches Association, right? And the big word being professional. And Ollie, and you'll love this story, Ollie's big driver is he comes from a very prestigious family of professionals, right? His dad was a world-renowned hand surgeon. Uncles were leading lawyers and what have you, right? Like top, you know,
the,
and
the standard professions.
Correct, and he comes from a proud Indian family, so it's like, well, these are the levels that you need to hit. And him being in the fitness industry, i.e., only having a first class degree in sports science, his dad still like didn't respect him, right? So it's part of his mission to be like, Dad, like this is a profession, and I'm going to prove it to you, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is a crazy narrative.
A good business partner to have if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because he's externally motivated to basically tell his dad, "Fuck you,
Yeah,
I'm gonna make myself." That's essentially what we're saying here in a subtle way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. Because you know, you and I both know it's all about meaning. If you can have meaning and purpose, and it's magical. So it was really, it was born on that, and then now we've basically got into a position where we've built so much out of this business, where we now have a mentorship. Within these mentorships, we have different levels or different tiers of focus. Some are one-to-one focus for personal trainers, others are for gym owners themselves. Ollie's got one of the most successful gyms in Europe. March On Gym is an unbelievable place to be. And you know, so we've got all these strands within the business, you know, seminars, short courses, business courses, what have you. But what is the underlying thing about it all is we're here to contribute and to make an impact. And what's amazing to see is the impact that we have in people's lives from a fulfillment point of view and a clarity point of view. How many coaches do you know that are just boshing out workouts because it's like, well, this is what I have to do? And it's like, there's no intuition, there's no meaning, there's no feel. Like I often have phone calls with coaches and they're like, I've got a programming problem. And I'll be like, okay, show me the program. And I look at it and be like, what's wrong with the program? It's like, I don't know. Like, okay, I was like, well, what did the assessment show us? Okay, so the assessment showed, I don't know, let's just say missing T-spine mobility. Lack of T-spine mobility, lack of core kind of strength engagement. That's it, right? Let's say something super chilled. Then it's like, okay, and what is the client's goals? I don't know. They just want to lose weight. So then I'm already thinking, okay, well, you didn't go deep enough with understanding the human being, right?
Yeah.
You don't understand their drivers, what they deem is success. What does success look like to them, and how do they think they're going to get there? Then you haven't looked at the programming and thought, how can I make this programming meaningful to the person, not just based on an assessment, right? And I mean, let's be honest, how many coaches even know how to do an assessment either?
Well, that's a whole nother podcast in itself. I think that's the missing link in 90% of all, and you'll see it. I mean, you guys, I've seen, you know, obviously I haven't been privy enough to go take the course yet, and it's one of the things I kind of have been looking at in the long run. But assessment is the way that we start. It's like, there's your start point. It's like, learn how to assess the person, and I'm going to emphasize the person in front of you, because it's not about how they move, or it's not just about how they move. It's not about their limitations. Like you've just gone through there in that example, it's like, who is this person in front of me? What's their goal? Like, where do they come from? What background do they have? What's like, why are they here? Everyone, you're going to get clients and I want to lose weight, and it's like, okay, why? No, I just want to lose weight. And like, eventually it comes out, it's like they've just gone through a breakup. It's like, I want to lose weight because now I want to show my ex, like, look what he's losing out on. Like, those are the types of things that I find, like, I include that into assessment, especially in Gen Pop realms, and you know, most of the clientele that we're going to work with, or PTs are going to work with. It's like, know the person you're working with. It's like personal training. That's the point. Personal. Get one-on-one. Understand the person in front of you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah, bro, yeah. I'm with you. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, it's just the fact, like, if you can't see how you need to tie all those dots into programming, into your language. I mean, I heard you on your podcast recently, where just the word intent. Like, fuck me, if another person says, intent and they don't understand what they mean by intent, I want to punch them with intent. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Yeah, but it's funny how that word suddenly just like trickled down in the industry, and you just see it like pop up, and you're like, but you're not. Never mind. I got to that point where I throw my hands up and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm just...
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's like all of it, right? I mean,
it's like functional. Intent and functional are going into the same category in my life these days.
I think the next course we'll do is functional intent course.
That's exactly it.
I'm taking that. Yeah, trademark that shit.
Just trademark it now, quickly.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, at the end of the day, like, seeing the coaches that we work with, you know, in today's market is just really special, seeing that they can take what is important to them, right, and understand what drives them as individuals. Why do they even do what they do? Then figure out what is their unique skill sets, for one, and how to use that, manifest that even more, so that they can kind of niche down on the kind of people that would directly benefit from said areas of expertise or specialisms.
Yeah.
And then be able to figure out what are their holes as well, so that they continually fill up the weak links as well. And what's really cool is then you can see people just getting so much more fulfilled. I mean, like, you know, these fitness gurus, I mean, dude, I'm sure you get slid into your DMs on Instagram where it's like, hey, bro, let me help you 10x your clientele. Or let me get you to...
The cold DM thing, it's one a day.
Oh, bro, you got to get back. You know what you do? You start a conversation. It's so much fun.
I have baited a few. The one was like, what do you want? I just said to him, I was like, I don't know what you want. He's like, oh, I want to help you. And I was like, okay, so help me. And he's like, okay, but here's the link. You got to get onto this call. And then I'm like, no, man, I don't, like, stop your shit.
No, the best one I've got recently is some, like, dude, if you're 18 years old and you've got like some business brain, I respect that. Like, good for you. Yeah. I love that. But don't slide into my DMs and tell me how to run my business, right? So the guy goes, he slides into my DMs like, I love your work. So I said, thank you. So it's like, seriously, bro, you're so inspirational. Thank you. And then he's like, do you know what? I think I could really help you 10x your business. Click this link and we can book a call. So I click the link, I take a screenshot. On his Calendly, he's got like 500 slots available. So I take a screen. Open, yeah. It's a bit like going to a restaurant and like all the tables are free. Yeah. So
you're right.
So yeah, top tip from me for anyone listening: Calendly only show 1 or 2 slots, even if you have all the time in the world. That way 100%. You look like a busy restaurant. So anyway, so funny, Bruce. So basically, take a screenshot, send it back to him. I was like, bro, do you know what this looks like? And he's like, yeah, I've opened my diary to make sure it can work. I said, no, bro. Told him the analogy about the restaurant. And I said, I'll tell you what, my mentorship for you, I'll give you mates rates. I'm going to charge you £10,000 a month. How does that sound? Just to I mean, it's not the price I charge, but I was just like, let me just throw it out there. And,
hey, Ollie, I've got a personal client just on the side. Is that all right?
Yeah. And honestly, did the guy reply? No. He ran away with his tail between his legs. Bro, it's 100%. So funny. And this is a problem, right? Because there's so many trainers who are in the industry with nothing, right? They know that their experience through their minimal course, whatever it was, taught them nothing. So they've got no confidence. And then it's like, okay, how am I going to then use any of what I was taught? You can't. And it's like, well, let me prey on these guys to show them how they can get clients. The whole thing's a mess.
But I think there's so many things to unpack there. One, the fact that like the quick short course just kind of gives you the qualification, go out into the world, and you don't understand you're a business owner. That's my first problem out of all of this. It's like, you get a PT qualification and go out into the world and go and train people. Like, that's fine. As bad as that is, that's fine and all. It's like, what they don't teach you is like, you're a business. You've now got to actually run a business. It's like, do you understand how to do your books? Do you know how to do invoicing? Do you know how many PTs that I've mentored who don't have an invoice? They don't have an invoice template. It's like one of the first things that I give them as a package, like in the whole mental, like if I do one-on-ones, it's like, here's a template for an invoice. Use it. Track your invoices. Oh, no, I've never done that. And I was like, well, let's start understanding that. It's like, track your metrics. It's like, so 1, business. 2, they don't know what they're doing. 3, someone comes along and dangles a carrot in front of you and says, I'm going to give you 10 times the amount of money you making right now. It's like, at the young age of 18, if someone came to me and was like, hey man, here's 10 times the amount of money that you're making currently, it's like, let's do it. Again, you know, I think we were maybe raised slightly differently. It's like, I know that instant gratification is a lie. It's like, that doesn't work. My grandfather taught me to work. It's like, nothing comes for free. I'm going to bust my balls for 6 months, a year, 3 years, like kind of like you did in terms of building your business. It's like, nothing is just in front of you and dangled. So it's like, I find the current society that we're in, it's like everyone's chasing instant gratification. And like it shows in every space that we're in. It's like, there's Instagram. It's like quick, easy, refresh. It's there. Business wise, it's like if someone comes along and, you know, promises you the world in front of you, it's like you're more likely to take it unless you're, you know, us and you've kind of been through the industry and you understand like it doesn't happen. As a new trainer, you're naive. So it's like there's so much wrong, and that's where you guys are doing so much right. Like that's why I look at you like PFCA and it's like that's what should be happening. It's like here's a company that takes you from being a little baby essentially, nurtures you, gives you all the different avenues of what you need as a business. It's like you've got your marketing course, you've got your social media side of that as well. It's like then you've got the actual coaching side, and I think tying everything in together is what you guys have now done perfectly. It's like you've gone through the steps, like you're saying, and it's cool to know, like we haven't had this conversation before, but it's like it's cool to see where it's come from. It's like you guys have put the hard yards in. It's like you spent, you know, you built that first course of yours, it's like 16 weeks or whatever it was. It's like you've evolved that, and it's just continuing to grow. Now from an outsider's perspective of knowing you and knowing what the course and how your business is run, it's like, dude, like you should be proud, man. I hope you are proud, because it's like I feel proud for you. It's good to see it. No, dude, you know what it is? There's too many good people in the world not getting what they deserve, and it's like, dude, you're one of them. Like I personally, that's just how I feel. It's like I've always felt like you're a good guy, dude. You've helped me out with so much stuff, and like good people deserve good things. We're in a world right now where good people get fucked all the time. And it's just like, it does my head in. So it's like, it's so cool to see someone who's a good person doing well. It's like, and making an impact. And that's, you know, that's the people I keep in my circle. It's like, you're one of them for that reason. It's like, you guys make an impact. So it's like, of course I'm going to be around you. I'm going to try and like, you know, lean on you if and when I need be. So it's just cool to see that, man. It's just, we went off a bit of a tangent there, but like, just proud of you, man.
Thank you, bro. Thanks so much. And I must say, I think that's one thing that we really appreciate, actually, is the fact that we are very relatable. We've been there, we've done that, and what makes us unique in the fitness industry is not just our talent as a coach. You know, like coach on the floor. You know, I'm proud of the coach I am, and of course, there's areas in which I can develop, but I'm proud of the coach I am. But also from a business standpoint, you know, the acumen that I've developed over the years and just the natural kind of nuance. The same with Ollie. Ollie is an incredibly strong business-to-business, commercial-minded guy, as well as from a training standpoint, he's a don. Like him and I always joke, like should the PFCA fail and we just need to go back to PT, it will be an absolute blast. We'll just be like, performance coach, thank you very much. You know what I mean?
And that's it. Charge
whatever you want, and that's it, right? But you know what's really exciting is hearing it from you, because that's the perception that we feel is authentic to us, but we're trying to really get across. Do you know what I mean? Because the hard part is to just give what you're talking about is just enough to get them on the hook, right? This instant gratification. Let me teach you this and you come here. And yes, that does make commercial sense for a large portion. what we try to do there is we try to give as many things away for free as possible, because it just showcases how good we are. And that's only the tip of the iceberg, because we've got so much more. And then on top of all that, it's just as you say, is just being able to give them from let's call it baby all the way up. And we are very proud of the fact that any problem you will face as a coach or wanting to start as a coach, we have a solution for that. In the same vein, like the level 3 personal training course, you know, that like starting syllabus, whatever it is, we decided that we would take on a license, because how it works is you buy a license to be able to do it. So we decided that we would take on a license, provided that we could do additional stuff to get across what we feel is most important. So yes, the syllabus, you have to get it done. The people who wrote that syllabus, they are so stuck in 40 years ago that it's frightening. It's frightening.
Yeah.
The stuff that we teach, they don't even know it exists, let alone deem it's necessary or even like relevant. But it is, right? But we know that if we were to put our spice on it, is it the best in class? No. If we were to write our own course, it would be best in class, right? However, it is the best that we could do, but we know that the coach that leaves our room, that put in the work, is going to be able to do something better than the next guy. And then it's about the business course and the marketing and all that kind of stuff to really kind of tie it all over. And what should be a staple is the FFC course for any coach at any stage of their journey, unless they've spent 10 years learning and developing themselves. If a coach has done their basic qualification and nothing else, that's a sad thing to imagine. Do you know what I mean?
It to me, it's like you've had no ambition to be better. It's like all the information is out there. Let's be honest. It's like if I wanted to go and find any and every piece of information I wanted, it's Google. You can find it. It's there. It's available. It's free to get. Just people are lazy.
Right.
So it's like if that's the coach you're talking about, it's like I don't want that person touching my mom at all. Like don't train my mom.
That's exactly my line. I can't believe you just said that. So my driver is, should my mom go to the gym tomorrow and there's a trainer in reception, I want to know that he did my stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But you know, we bring that analogy into everything from, you know, I used to use it when I was a paramedic and all those types of things. It's like, I want to be able to, like, I will treat this person as if I'm treating my mom.
Yeah.
It's like it should be the same thing in coaching, especially in a Gen Pop setting. And I think, like, I want to go back to the fact that you guys, you know, take them in from a baby. If you think, like, we'll use that analogy, that's the best time. It's like these people doing Cert 3 or whatever it is, it's like you're fixing the problem from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I've always said, like, that's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
It's like that's where, like, stop ingraining the bad patterns, or like it's so much more difficult to unteach the shit that they've learned versus like getting in at the start and being like, hey, we understand this is what you have to learn according to law. It's like, let's add more. Let's actually give you value. It's like, you know, that's I've
but
had
the
people reach out to me
problem
in the UK.
is the fucking law, bro. The problem is the law.
Yes. But
Like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because in actual fact, it's just not going to change, you know. Like, and then to go back to the other point that you said about no ambition, do you know it's not about that actually. I'm gonna say yes a little bit. Sorry, James, just plug this in. I'm gonna say yes to a little bit of the ambition, but I'm also gonna say it's actually worse. It's deeper than that. It's that they believe that they had an answer to every problem they were facing during the entire time. They believed that they had an answer. They definitely didn't. They definitely didn't have enough of a tool, like a toolbox, let alone a tool set, to actually solve said problems they would have faced routinely. And they fucking bullshitted their way through. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's ego.
Yeah.
Straight up ego. It's that they haven't, or they're not able to accept the fact that they don't know everything.
Correct.
So they'd rather just brush it under the carpet and pretend to know everything and just carry on.
Bro, one of my favorite things to do would be like see something not going according to plan, whatever it is, and being like, fuck, I need to find that out. Like I remember, like, if you had a client who, I don't know, was struggling with runner's knee, and you're trying to get VMO to switch on, and you're doing shit and it's like, oh, it's not working. I remember in my first years of PT, I had 3 physios on my books for free. I would train them 1.5 an hour a week, just so that I could have them in my corner. Send me clients, but also, could I ask you some shit? I remember then in every one of those sessions, after that session with one particular guy, going, I couldn't get my clients VMO on. What can we do? And it was like, try this, try that, try that. You know, and then it was one who was like, well, actually do this, and then you'll see something change. And it was a whole relationship of VMO and glute med and adductor all working in like centration as one. I was like, oh, fuck. I would not have ever learned that if I didn't, 1, go, I don't know the answer to this, and 2, I'm going to go and find out.
Yeah, man, but that's exactly it. It's the fact it's like you're willing to go out and learn because you know you're wrong.
Yeah.
Or you know you don't have the answer.
Correct.
That's the same thing, you know, when I went through my injury, it's like no one could give me an answer. So it's like, okay, so I started researching. I started looking at, like, I started reaching out to people in completely different continents. Like I was doing calls at like 2 a.m. in the morning with people in my time zone that didn't work, to be like, hey, this is my problem. I don't understand what's going on. It's like, but you know what that comes down to? Problem solving.
Oh yeah.
That's what this industry is. The industry is problem solving.
100%.
That's how you should be looking at clients. It's like, they have a problem, let's solve it. It's like you're saying about the programming. It's like, I'll sit down if I'm not getting the result that I intend to get out of a client's program. Like I audit all of my clients' programs every month. So every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what their block is, it's like I sit there and go, it's like, this is kind of where I expected things to go. Why didn't this happen? And like I go into the whole thing. It's like I look at their biofeedback, I look at their programming, I look at like recovery. Like that's the in-depth side. I go into it. But coaches won't even do like the base level of that. Like you were just saying, it's like, just take a step back and be like, I don't know what's going on here. Who do I know that knows this? Who do I not know that I could reach out to? And at the same time, you created a network. There was your business. So you took on 3, you know, outside clients essentially who could generate income to you.
100%.
Like, dude, I know so many trainers who would, 1, not even make the effort, 2, think that that's bad for business. And I think that's the selfish thing. And 3, they just don't care. They don't care enough if the client's like VMO is firing or not.
You hit the nail on the head. Exactly. And that, bro, and that reminds me actually of the fact that it's like, unless you give a shit, get the fuck out of our industry. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless you actually give a shit, get out. Because you know that Spider-Man analogy, I use it a lot in a particular presentation. And it's like, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Like, we as trainers have an insane amount of power from a trust perspective, from a implying our own beliefs on other people. Like, it's a joke, actually, what we get to do. And if you get that, if you take that for granted, or if you just...
You misuse it.
If you misuse it, a bit like, yeah, correct. Like any superhero film who some guy misuses the powers, then that's dangerous. That is super dangerous. You know, and I think more so from the subtlety rather than the big stuff. So it's like, fine, you don't know how to coach a deadlift. You put someone under a barbell and you fucking made them look like shit. They might have got injured, perhaps. Hopefully they're more resilient than that. But hey, okay, fine. You fucked them up. That's your fault. But actually, it's the kind of ones who literally feed so much bullshit into someone from their own beliefs, just imply or just like, do you know what I mean? Like enforce something that it's dark to come back from. Because you're basically like, let's say you're a coach and you have someone for 5-6 years, and all you ever spoke about was keto, 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 then you're not their coach anymore, and now their relationship with food is fucked, because anytime they look at carbs, they think, I'm going to get fat.
Yep.
That's way worse.
100%. It's like mental manipulation over physical. It's like the mental abuse will always be worse than physical, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you can't see it.
Correct.
It's so much more difficult to like fix. Physical abuse, and that's not that side, but you know what I mean. Physical abuse is like,
is this why you're single, bro?
No, I'm single because my communication is shit.
That's
why I'm single.
Yeah. Because I noticed earlier you were like, oh, what's your why behind training? Oh, because your ex. Bro, you're looking good at the moment. You're like, baby, when I see you on the beach, you're going to be like, whose back is that? Yeah. Gotta get yoked. That's that simple saying. It's like breakups make bodybuilders. That's how it works. Nah, fuck. Communication. But in saying that, interesting thing. I've been diving into the communication realm just from personal experiences, I suppose. Man, I can relate it so much to coaching. Sounds completely like messed up. I think we kind of had the conversation. We were chatting about with Modern Wisdom. Yeah. It's like I've been listening to some relationship coaches about communication for my business. Yeah.
And it's changed the perspective of like how I'm going to communicate with certain clients, because I can actually get across the message better. And it's like, if my communication is shit to you, I'm never going to get you to do anything that I need you to do to benefit you. It's like I looked at that in my business and my life, I suppose, or more my life, and then I kind of cross-referenced it into business. And I was like, my communication needs to be better. It's going to make me a better coach, so I might as well.
100%. I was doing some leadership consulting on Friday for a big brand on Friday, and the big thing that we were discussing was language as a leader. And the problem is that, like, as a coach, you feel that you get to say, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to go for a walk, you need to get your steps up. Now actually that's quite much more of a dictator rather than someone who they can collaborate with. And it's the same thing in a relationship. The moment you try and attack someone, tell them what to do, it's only going to often find rebellion or some kind of defensive like pullback, right? But if you can facilitate a collaboration or a way in which they came up with a solution that you nudged them to, that's coaching. It's the same thing in relationships or anything, right? Like there's a book that every coach should read. It's called Motivational Interviewing in Health and Nutrition, I think it is. And basically it teaches you the kind of nuance behind motivational interviewing. And the biggest thing about that is just like, you need to understand what is their drives, what are their motives, and then understand what they value. Okay, what do they most value in their life, right? Let's say losing weight, for instance. And then what do their actions look like? And how do they marry? Most often there's a mismatch, right? They're not in line. So then how do we then educate them on their actions and then feed it back to what can we change that brings it back to this, which you deem is of high value, high importance, therefore it's meaningful and purposeful. Then through clever words and manipulation for a positive sense, we can then make them come up with the solutions themselves. So it's a bit like if you said to a client, hey, the dictator coach would be like, bitch, your steps are shit, you need to get your steps up. Depending on your relationship, you might get her to walk maybe for a week or two, right? But it's going to dial down. However, if you said to her, great, well, thanks so much for the analysis. It's really cool to see. What do you think about the step count? Oh, it's a little bit low. I was like, okay, well, for now, it's great. How do you think we could improve on that? What do you think we could do to get your steps up? All of a sudden, they come up with the solutions that you can facilitate it, you can add levels to it, you can add further ideas, but they feel like they came up with the solution. That's coaching.
You've created buy-in.
Correct.
Just by getting them involved and, like, as you're saying, like, getting them to give you the solution, it's like they've bought in. It's the same thing as, like, in any team environment. It's like if you get everyone in the team to participate and to give ideas, even if the ideas don't work, they feel like they've now part of the team. There's buy-in. There's not just one person dictating to you.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's exactly what coaching is. Coaching's positive manipulation. That's kind of how I look at it.
I say the exact same thing. That's exactly what it is. So let's manipulate positively.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only time I'm for manipulation, I suppose.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, based on what you're telling me about your ex, sounds like you need to be manipulated a lot more, bro.
If she listens to this, she won't listen to this. If she listens to this,
she'll drop me a DM and be like, Jenz, I like you. Thanks. Keep hinting it.
Yeah. Instagram handle, Coach Jenz. Just a subtle dig there.
Get me that one extra follower, James, please.
One extra follower. I hate that that's a thing. I hate that that's how we measure and deem ourselves, but that's a completely another story, I guess.
Bro, to be honest, like, it's one of those things where and your boy Jordan, he really fed this into me, or something he said really kind of manifested itself in my mind. He was like, "It's a fucking game. Just play the game, win the game. Play the game, win the game."
Exactly.
And
that's exactly what it is.
And I love that analogy. And actually, so something really exciting is, as of about 2 weeks ago, I decided that at the end of May, I'm closing my 2 coaching businesses and going all in on the PFCA, going all in on the education company. And
man, I think that's the best decision you made.
Bro, honestly, it's incredible, right? And I'm so excited. But the biggest thing is now that there's so much clarity on my identity going forwards, because it's so natural to me. So that now social media actually doesn't feel like a chore. It just feels like a way in which I'm sharing to the people that I believe I have a solution for. I have something to give. And
it's a tool you can now use for your education.
Correct. And bro, it's like you would have noticed, like, in the last 10 days, and you'll see a trend going forwards. Like, all of a sudden, Jenz is bringing a different kind of level. And it's because finally I'm not identifying as Jenz the PT in North London, Jenz the online coach, Jenz the educator, the mentor, the business consultant, the advisor. Now I'm just like Jenz the advisor to personal trainers, or the educator. That's it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let me give you my best advice. Let me pay it forward. Let me pay it back, and that's it. And that in itself has been such a game changer for this whole BS Instagram bullshit.
But it is, like, you created, like you said, you touched on it. It's like clarity.
Yeah.
It's like, as soon as you find clarity, you know exactly where to put your energy into.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're busy, not that you were doing a bad job of it, but it's like you were coaching, online coaching, educating, advising, teaching. Like, there was so many planes up in the air. It's like you've kind of redirected all the other ones and you've landed the one that needs to land.
Yeah.
It's like, and now it's like, now it's all in. It's ready to go. You've got 100% behind you. It's like, you've done this before. You've created, this essentially is your third successful business, is kind of how I look at it. It's like, we're through your phase of life and how you've moved up. It's like, go all in, man. I think it's the best decision you've made. And I think it's going to pay off in the long run.
100%. 100%. And you know what? I'm very fortunate to be in business with someone like Ollie, because he wanted this to happen a long time ago for me to go all in. But he was patient enough for me to come up to that decision myself. And like, that's beautiful in itself, right? And it happened so clearly about 2 and a bit weeks ago. I was in a meeting with Ollie and our like design agency and social media agency, and we're busy, like, I'm presenting like all the buckets of the business, right? Like the education, the courses, the seminars, the mentorships, the IP on the site, like everything. And then it was all displayed on this huge, like massive whiteboard, like 4 meters wide whiteboard. And then all of a sudden I saw it all on this whiteboard and I was like, what the fuck? Like, how have we created such a big fucking animal? How have I been able to do 20 plus hours a week of coaching, running an online business and everything else on the education side? And how on earth are we going to take it to where we believe we can take it if I'm still fucking around with these other things? And that's basically what happened, right?
Yep.
And I literally, and I joke about it, I went white. I must have looked like shit. And for the next half an hour, things were said in that meeting. James, my boy, I cannot tell you what was said. All I realized was I had clients that I've had for 11 years, some, that I was like, I have to have the conversation with them. I have to let this person down. I have to let this person down. I'm going to break this person's heart. But I always knew that was the narrative. But for the first time, I was like, none of that matters. I don't care how uncomfortable that's going to be. This matters more. And it was crazy, bro. So as you say, like that, all those planes were up in the air. I basically just blew them all up. I was like, you guys can go crash. I don't care. But you know what? Like, I mean, I do care, and I care where my clients go, and I've put them all with amazing trainers. Everything's facilitated. Like, I was landing them at other airports.
Yeah.
But no, 100%. And thank you for that. Thank you for the wise words and stuff. Like, honestly, bro, I've never been. I can honestly say I've never been so excited. Like, we've got a headquarters we're moving into in 10 days time. It's going to be
dude.
The office, the gym studio, the podcast. I'm going to launch a podcast myself. Like, it's going to be so good. And if we can just contribute, pay it forward. And as you say, please God, the good stuff comes back.
Yeah, man. Well, congrats, dude. That's the best way to end this. We'll end it on the high there. Man, congratulations, dude. That's
Thanks,
all
brother.
I can say. I wish you all the best. I know you're going to be successful. I just know you are. That's as simple as it is, dude.
Thanks, bro. So listen, when the PFCA podcast is live, you're on. Yeah?
Yeah, man.
And we talk coaching smack hard.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, we can riff about it and see what happens.
Lovely, my bro. Thank you so much, man.
Awesome, brother.